All right, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to this video with Lebright, where I'm sure we're going to discuss quite a number of things. And one of them being that Lebright runs a community that has recently crossed over $1 million in funding, in prop firm funding. So tell us a little bit about that.
That's a long story because we have to go back to 2020. It's the year that I started trading for my birthday, February 28th, the last week of normal life, I can say, before the pandemic. And I joined the IM Academy. But when I first joined the academy, the environment I was in, they were only talking about marketing. Okay. But I wanted to learn how to trade because that's why my friend Felix invited me to. And okay, I started to learn. I learned from a lot of educators, and there is something that they always say: if you want to master something, if you want to learn something, try to share it to someone else. And I started to share it on my WhatsApp, not publicly, but just on my WhatsApp story. And people tell me, so instead of sharing it to your WhatsApp, just create a YouTube channel. But I didn't want to because I said, I just started. I'm not good at it yet, and I'm a beginner. But people tell me, don't worry, just start it. And I started the YouTube channel, and after years of experience, and after a lot of ups and downs, and I see what trading can do to Haiti, my country. I know you've heard a lot of things about Haiti. I see the impact trading can make in Haiti, and I decided to grow a community. Okay, and when I first started, that was not a big deal for me. That was just okay. I'm gonna share my knowledge to some people, but the impact is so big right now. And last week we reached $1 million funded. That was crazy, man. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that because that was crazy. $1 million funded, and there are some people that use my YouTube channel that I don't know them. So $1 million from people inside of the community that I know. That means some people outside of the community that I don't really know. But I really want to thank you, man, because most of the things that I share to them come from your channel 96, a channel that I discovered on April 2022, 2 years ago. That's the month I decided to be focused, to be consistent in my trading, and that's exactly where I started to see good results, and I'm able to grow the community, man. Thank you so much for everything because you share a lot of things to me, not just trading, in life, leadership, personal development. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, of course. I appreciate that. But that's a big congratulations to you as well, for passing along that information to, your people, because I know that you guys speak a different language too. So
Yes.
you're bilingual then. So you speak English and then Haitian Creole, is that right?
We speak English. I speak English. I speak French and Asian Creole. Yeah. But
Oh, okay. So you're
people in
trilingual.
Haiti, they speak Asian Creole most likely.
Okay. That's impressive because I only speak English. So but yeah, I mean, because that's even a skill set in its own to be able to learn something in English and then pass it along in a different language. So, that's
Yeah.
definitely big props to you for doing that. So yeah, man, I remember Channel 96. May that channel rest in peace. It's funny, I actually do have a lot of those videos still.
Uh-huh.
They're on a Google Drive actually, but
Uh-huh.
I thought about putting that out there to the public, but honestly, I think what I've done on YouTube has surpassed that. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I mean, just in terms of depth, better explanations, I think, better examples. I
Mhm.
think as we get better trader, as we become better traders over time, I think I became a
Yes.
better educator over time too. And I just think that this channel now is better than channel 96. And so that's why I haven't really released it, because I just don't think there's a point to doing that. But yeah, so over $1 million in funding, man, that's really cool. So, do people reach out to you and give you almost their life story on, where they started and kind of like how much you've impacted them and things like that? Have people reached out to you giving you their testimonials?
Yeah, yeah. I receive testimonials like almost every day, and most of them come from people um that are victim from other people, because I don't know, just like in every community, in American community, in the Asian community, there are some people that use they abuse people. They take in over thousand, $2,000 dollars just to not to teach people, just to copy their trade. And I receive a lot of people have been victim from this thing, and right now that's that's what I'm fighting against too. But yeah, every day I receive testimonials, people that, in Haiti, $1 means a lot. So when someone pass a funding challenge, and if you can just withdraw $200 a week, that's a lot.
Yeah.
With $500 in Haiti, I can live for 1 or 2 months and live like a good life, at the beach every day. So yeah, I receive testimonials, and I'm very grateful for that. Um, the fact that I've met you, and the fact that I'm building a community that I know in the future that will impact my country.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not in Haiti. I can't I cannot help physically because I'm not here. But I know this community in the next 5 or 10 years gonna make a huge impact in the development of my country.
Yeah, of course. And that's what it's all about, right? I've
Yep.
had thousands of students, and a couple of them have gone on to do their own thing, or start their own community or whatever. And I don't have anything against that now. I used to, but only because there's a certain way to do it. There's a
Yeah.
certain way of kind of branching off on your own, or even being like a sub branch of something else. Like, say, the trade house, for example. Like, the trade
Mhm.
house started, I think, in 2016. I might be wrong, but I know that they started roughly around that time. And then, I was Trade House Houston. I still am actually Trade House Houston. That's my LLC actually. And I was doing that for a while. And then you see the other trade, like Trade House Australia, Trade House Europe, like all this and that. And
Yeah.
you know, that to me was a good thing, because we were becoming worldwide, right?
Mhm.
And that's fine, but there's a certain way of doing it. So I know we had students in the past that would learn from myself or learn from other members of the trade house, Zach, Jordan, and a few others. And then, but they did it the wrong way. They would leave and then be something else, and then like have their own brand of whatever, and try to really take they wanted to put themselves on a pedestal, like, oh,
Yeah.
look at me type thing. And that's the wrong way of doing it. There was a lot of people that did that. And that's one thing that I know that you didn't do, right? You're somebody who did it correctly. This is the long-winded version of me saying
Yeah.
that you did things the right way,
Mhm.
because you tell people who and where you learn from,
Mhm.
and that's the right way of doing it. So I thank you,
And
for doing
the
that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't want to start a YouTube channel or none of them at the beginning. But people tell me, you don't know what we can do with this knowledge, we can learn to. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna share it. So I didn't start like, okay, I know the market, how they move and everything. No. I said I'm a student, I'm learning, and I'm gonna share with you guys. So I give credits to everybody. Whatcomer, you, Zachary, Jordan Morgan, Mike Navarrete, Mike Miles, everything that I've learned from them when I'm teaching, I'm saying, okay, I've learned this from Mike Miles. So he's in the I Am Academy. He's doing the live stream every Sunday. He's talking about things. I'm trying to translate what he told to me and everything. That's 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 it. For me, it's not complicated because I know some people they're gonna take the knowledge and they're gonna go outside. They say, okay, that's my knowledge. I created it. I invented it. So that was not the case for me. That was not the case for me, and I think that's why my community is building like in a fastest way in the long term.
Yeah. Yeah, man, those type of people, those type of individuals, they don't really last long.
Yeah,
They might blow up quick, they might have quick sales, and then it doesn't grow. So it's
yeah,
like a bell curve, just like the MLM industry. It goes up quick and then falls off quick, and then that's it. Versus,
yeah,
I pride myself on the community, like the Smart Money Stokes community. I've got the hoodie on, by the way. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
yeah,
I put these
yeah.
on. I put this on for these interviews and stuff. I pride myself that we look more like just a consistent line, steadily trending upward, right? And I pride myself on that. Um, you know, today's date is the 25th, May 25th. It was yesterday, the 24th. I did a video, the live stream on the ego, right? And I
Yeah,
kind of dove into the ego a little bit, and that plays a big part in it because I know that there's other groups, other communities or whatever, and they're struggling to grow, they're struggling
yeah,
to make sales.
yeah,
Retention is a big problem as well, and I see that from the outside, and that's another reason why I went over that, because it's like you can't just think that you're a decent trader, or even a good trader, and then you're going to be able to somehow run a community, and like that's what you're basing your retention off of, is just the fact that you might be a good trader or you might be a good teacher. That's just one small piece of it. Like, obviously there's the leadership side, there's the marketing side, there's the even like the relationships with people within the community. Like, that's its own thing too. And so when you lack those other areas, right, you're not going to run a community very well. It's not going to go well, you know?
yeah,
So that's why I made that yesterday on the ego. And so, as leaders, we have to have humility, and we have to have,
exactly.
I'm not going to rehash that whole stream from the other day. I actually just got done editing that
Yeah,
video before our call here. Um, but it's like, yeah, I see other people becoming envious because the SMS community is doing things the right way,
yeah,
you know. But the biggest thing too is I have always been open about the way that I run things. I've always been open
yeah,
about the business principles. I've been open about
exactly.
certain books that I've read, that I've told you to read. I've even told some other, and I don't know if they want me to put their name out there, but other individuals I've told to read those same books too, because it's like, this is where I got this from. Like, John Maxwell's the GOAT when it comes to
Yep.
leadership,
Yeah,
you know? So I put you guys onto that stuff because it worked for them. It's working for us, obviously. So it's like, why would you not want to, number one, give credit where it's due, but number two, follow the footsteps of the people who did it first, or the people who do it better, right? Why would you not?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and what I've realized is that the community is like the copy paste of the leader of the community. So you can have a good product, but if you're not a good leader, you're not gonna build a good community. You
Yeah,
understand? If you're a toxic leader, the community will be a toxic community.
exactly. That's why, because I still get questions sometimes, not anymore, but a lot of people used to ask me, who I learned from, and I've listed out a bunch of people in the past, and the number one question I get is about ICT. And I always tell people, I'm like, look, I used to have a lot of respect for ICT. I have emails from him and I from back in like 2019 or something like that. And because I've always been a student, bro, and I still am a student. I don't really take courses like trading courses anymore, obviously, but a long time ago I did. I wanted to learn. I watched a lot of videos. I took a lot of courses, and I was in the ICT mentorship for a few months. And I just remember being part of a community, and of course, ICT being toxic, it led to a lot of us being toxic too. And so it actually, most people don't know this, but it actually got to the point where he called me out in not one, but two of his mentorship videos. Right.
Okay.
Because I had made a YouTube channel making videos that weren't really related to his content, but he thought that it was. So he was like, you can't do this, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, well, this guy is toxic. The students are toxic as well. I mean, dude, you can even go on Twitter. There's a lot of guys on Twitter right now,
Yeah.
and they're just super toxic. They hide behind profile pictures. Um,
Yeah.
they sell these really expensive courses that are just rehashes of shit that's already on YouTube for free anyway. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like that kind of piggybacks off of what you said earlier about how, you know, you might teach somebody, but then they're going to take what you taught them, go put a really big price tag on it because they can't make money trading. So they want to go make money by selling super expensive mentorships,
Exactly.
you know? So trust me, I feel you on that. And that's why I left the ICT community back in 2019, because I'm like, I want to separate myself from this as much as I can, you know,
Yeah.
as far away from this as I can. So when people ask me about ICT, that's what I tell them. I'm like, look, I got respect for the guy because he's taught the community a bunch of things. He's taught me some
Yeah.
things, but as an
Mhm.
individual, oh no, oh no. I actually
Yeah.
not. I'm not going to make this video about me, but it's just it's relevant to what we're talking about. And him and I actually had a conversation. We went back and forth after I released my book in 2021. And
Mhm.
I told him, we were going paragraph for paragraph. And I told him, I was like, go read a John Maxwell book. Your leadership straight up sucks, you know? So anyway, but I don't want to make this all about me, obviously, but
Yeah.
I want to ask you a few questions as well. Now that, you know, now that we're a little bit deeper into it. So, cause I always ask other traders some of these questions.
Mhm.
For your own journey, what were some of the struggles that you faced as a trader? Like for me, one of my biggest things is impatience. So, what are
Okay.
some of the big things that you faced and had to overcome?
Accept the loss. I couldn't accept the loss. When I lost, doesn't matter the amount, even $10 or $20 or $1,000. I just can't accept it. Why I lost? Because if I studied this, I studied that, I studied the right way, and I applied the right way. Why why it's a loss? But I've learned through two times that the result gonna be random. Okay, it takes me a lot of times to accept that because when I was a kid, I was a good student. I could say, even though I always have problem at school, but I was a good student and I didn't have problem to learn. I learned very fast. But when I came into this field, when I came into trading, and I'm like, okay, um, Peter, I know you're a good student, but in this field, things work differently. Okay, you can apply this thing, but the result might be different than the expectation. Okay, and the my strength is patience at the same time. I couldn't accept the loss, but after a loss, I can take 1 or 2 weeks without taking any trade, just to look at the market and try again. That's why on my past accounts, I blew a lot of accounts. Everybody knows that. But in my past accounts, you can see the matrix. Every time I'm deep down, I always come back to break even. And at break even or in profit, I'm gonna make 2 or 3 loss, and I'm like, all right, let's give up. I couldn't accept to go back again because I was deep down and I make an effort. I use risk management. and I back to profit, back to break even, and one loss again. I'm like, okay, let's give up. So that was a huge problem for me. That was a huge problem for me. And I tried to pass some challenge in the past, like 2 years ago. I failed the challenge, but they always in profit. What happened when I first started? I think that was FTMO. I lost three. Okay. When I first started, um, I'm in loss. Okay, deep down. And when I have 2 or 3 days before the last day, I'm gonna make a final way to put the account to break even or in profit. And after that, I'm gonna lose the account. That was a huge problem for me to accept the loss. But if when I start the challenge, for example, and I got a loss and I accept the loss, I'm pretty sure at this time I could have turned back the situation rapidly or in a better way. You
Hmm.
understand? So now I'm able to do this, and that's a win for me.
Yeah.
So I know traders, they see progression in trading based on calls, based on jelly, like I don't know the bling bling thing. But me, that's a win for me. Be able to accept the loss, sit down in my chair and watching my position go against me, and after that, take a break, take a shower, read a book, and come back tomorrow and reset my mind. That's a win for me. That's a huge win for me.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I definitely face that too. Sometimes I still do, but because I'm pretty sure you had asked a few questions about re-entering the market, because I know on channel
Yeah.
96 I had a couple of streams like that where I was
Yes.
teaching you guys how to re-enter the market without revenge, you know.
Exactly.
And that's why there was such a specific title, because it's like, okay, you take a loss, and then the first thing that all of us want to do, we take a loss and then we want to get it back,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like, oh, I lost whatever, how much amount, I want to get that back plus more, so let me, you know, find a re-entry or whatever.
Yeah.
And there is a very specific way of going about that, and it's dangerous, because you know you're either going to lose again, or
Yeah.
you are going to get your loss back, or your loss back plus more, and actually have a win on the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's almost, for a lot of people, that would be the beginning of tilt as well,
Yeah.
when they can't accept the loss and then try to go in that second or third time, and then they end up trading emotionally, and then, you know, you were down 1 or 2%, now you're down like 5 or 6% or worse, and you
Yeah.
blow the account, or you blow the challenge or something, and now you turned a small loss into just ultimate destruction, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have a second challenge is like I let my personal problems impact my trading. Okay. It's a decision that I've taken in April 2022. The first time I said, okay, after the car accident, I'm gonna watching you. And I said, okay, that's gonna be the last time I let my personal stuff impact my trading, because I took a break and after the car accident, and I sat down a little bit and talked to myself and said, okay, what I'm gonna do. And because the educators I used to watch, they kicked them out from the academy because they were French educators, but they used to talk the truth. No matter what, they're gonna say the truth. They kicked them out because they were saying that binary is a scam. They were saying stuff like that. They kicked them out, and I was closer to them than American teacher, than the trade house teacher. So, and at this point, I said, okay, all right, I'm gonna watch John Fibonacci. And from that day, I said, okay, you will never let personal stuff impact your trading to like take a break for 2 weeks, for 1 month. That's enough. And since that day, I never took a break from trading.
Nice. Yeah, I never went on the platform to say that, you know, to stay away from binary, but a lot of the in-person events or private messages, I told everybody that. I'm like, stay away from binary. You don't want to do it. Like,
Yeah.
trust me, it's you stay away from binary. And of course, nobody listened, right? So then, oh, we're having trouble withdrawing, or we made all this profit, but your account is being suspicious or it's acting suspicious, right?
Yeah.
So now we're just going to give you your withdrawal back and not your profits, right? Like, trust me, like I know all the shady things that those binary brokers do. So, yeah, but hey, man, look, nobody wanted to listen to me, you know? And then when you
Yeah.
lose real money, now you want to pay attention, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, binary is definitely not something that I ever put on after a certain point. I was with binary like in 2015 or 2016 for a couple months or something, but same thing. You run up a bag, they don't want you to withdraw it, and it's horrible. But
Yeah.
what's funny too is it's funny you mentioned that, because you said that these French educators were being real and they were kicked out because they said all these things. That's like the opposite of what people ask me about. I still get questions to this day that people hit me up and they go, "We heard that educators aren't allowed to teach everything they know. Like they're supposed to hold things back." And I'm like, I don't know who you heard that from, but that's not
Nah.
true. That's not
I
true at
mean,
all.
one of them, Elodie, a woman, they posed a page like for 1 week. They sent her an email and they told her you have to stop talking about binary because binary at this time that was the thing that bring people into the academy.
Right.
But she shared the email to us in the live session. She said, "I'm not gonna stop talking about binary because I know it's a scam." And after 2 or 3 weeks, they kick her out.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that was the way that the company was making money, right? With the
Yep.
signups and everything. And so if you go against that,
Yeah.
so yeah,
And long story short, she went to the army too in France. So she
oh,
did not care. She didn't care about what they are saying. She said, "It's a
yeah,
scam. I'm not gonna say it's not a scam because you send me an email. If you kick me out, you kick me out. I don't care." So
yeah.
yeah, but after that, they kick her out, man. That was sad.
I'm Me though, I'm glad that I left. Honestly, I should have left a lot sooner. I actually
Yeah.
tried to leave a lot sooner. And again, not to make this interview about me, but I tried to
Yeah.
leave actually in January, and I gave him my 2 weeks and everything. Um, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there was very, very important people that spoke to me and asked me to stay. You know, and I said, okay, fine. And then they made promises and they didn't keep them. You know, and then when they took my channel down the second time, that's when I was like, all right, bro, like I'm out of here. So yeah, I definitely should have did that earlier though, because the community that I'm running and everything that you've got going on, like this is how it should have been.
Yep.
Where it's like students are seeing success,
Hmm.
you and I are taking good trades. It's
Yep.
like this is how it should have been from the jump.
Yep.
And that's why even on the live streams and sometimes when I talk about business and entrepreneurship and how I run this community, I do everything opposite of what the MLM industry does, even from the
Yep.
marketing to um the retention and even to like the price. Like
Yep.
literally, they want higher pricing, I want low pricing. They want emotional manipulation. You got to stay. Your mom's still working,
Exactly.
so you got to stay. It's like,
Look.
no, you want to leave? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
That was that
And
was that that was not easy for me personally at
yeah,
this time because I'm I came in as an international student and you have to pay the school 4 times than everybody else. And at this time, I have to find ways to pay the academy and everything. That was a very hard time, but we're not gonna talking about it today
yeah.
because
I
that's a
mean,
long story by itself.
it's like, but if it's a part of your journey, though, like it is what it is. You
Yeah,
know,
because I had leaders calling me because when I first started in 2 months, I was like P. I don't remember the rank, but I had there was P 150, the one after in 2 months, and I had leaders calling me like every day. I had meetings in Miami with some leaders, and then I had a meeting with Brendan in Miami. But I realized that I was in the matrix. I was I was helping them to put people in a bad situation. Okay, because I had to say things that sometimes I think about it and I'm like, what I'm saying, because the leaders they put pressure on you. I ended up put $500 in a binary account for what I don't know. I've never traded, but at this time I had to because the leaders like forcing you to do stuff, man, and you have to pay the you have to pay the monthly subscription to the academy, and you have some ads on to pay, and bro, I can tell you that was a bad. It's because I believe in trading because I've met people that they were successful in trading, and I know okay I'm gonna keep going, but this part is the dark side because my friend who invited me, he got depressed. He got depressed, staying inside of his room for like weeks and months because the leaders calling him to sign up people. They're gonna call him how many people you sign on today. It's like you have the pressure to put people inside the academy, and that's not trading. That's not trading. That I don't know what it was. That's that's not trading at all, man.
you can't even learn how to trade if you're too busy doing that.
Exactly. And we wanted to trade. Felix and I, we wanted to trade. The marketing part, maybe I know how to communicate at this time. I don't know because I had a lot of ranks in a short period of time, but I wanted to learn how to trade. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the leaders at this time, they're gonna put pressure on you, and bro, it's like the army.
Yeah, and it obviously was a house of cards. So you built it up quick and it fell just as quick. That's why I always
Yeah,
use the bell curve reference. Goes up
yeah,
fast, drops off just as fast, if not faster.
yeah,
And I'll never forget this, dude. I read all those leadership books. I read a few on like marketing and stuff. And I just realized it's like, look, this is all wrong. Like practically everything that we as in a company, not we as in trade house, but we as in like the entire company. I'm like,
yeah,
everything about this is wrong. This needs
yeah,
to change. This needs to change, right? But the attitude is, well, he's just an educator. He's not
mhm,
a certain rank, right? And
yeah,
it's like, oh, well, what does he know about building business, right?
yeah,
So the ego gets in
mhm,
the way, and then of course everything comes crumbling down. And a lot of people left over the years. A lot of people lost their ranks, obviously, and everything went to shit, in other words. And now,
yeah,
it's even worse because there's a bunch of other MLM companies popping up left and right. That hasn't really changed. And so now there's just more competition and bad reputation. I mean, oh, dude, who was it? Who was it? Some business. I think it wasn't Forbes, but it was like some other business. I'll have to find the article, but yeah, they just got like wrecked all over the internet for like their reputation is done now. If
oh
it was
really?
already done to begin with, but now it's just like to me, they're just dead. Like that
Yeah.
company to me is just done. So, so yeah,
But there are
sorry, go
some
ahead.
good and some bad because if I've never like came to the academy, I would never know like John Fibonacci, and other people, other
Y-
great people that I've met.
Yeah. So you basically learned like kind of like what I say sometimes too is you learn pretty much what not to do.
Exactly.
You know, so by learning what not to do, you know what
You know
to
what to
do.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. So anyway, if we bring it back to the trading side for just a minute, um what would you say to the community, the current community that we have? You know, what would you tell younger traders or aspiring traders who want to be funded or at least want to learn how to trade? Maybe they don't want to be funded, but they just want to learn how to trade for themselves. What would you tell them?
Give yourself time to make mistake. Okay. Give yourself time to make mistake. Don't rush the process, because sometimes we said, okay, if I can't pass a challenge, I'm a bad person. If I can't pass a challenge, I'm an idiot. It's not the case. Just give yourself enough time to make enough mistake. I used to say that in Creole, but once you've made enough mistakes, like you just said, if you know what not to do, you automatically know what to do. So if you know how to like blow the account, how not to pass a challenge, you automatically know how to pass them.
Yeah.
But you have to make mistakes.
Yeah, it kind of comes back to what you said earlier where you were saying how you would see your equity curve go down and then your win would be like back to break even, right? So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how can we replicate the part where we go up
Yeah.
and limit the part where we go down? You
Yeah.
know, it's funny like when people post that they've like their equity curve is slowly down and down and down and down and I'm like, "Bro, you just need to do the opposite of whatever it is that you're doing." You know, so
Yeah.
instead of hitting
Yeah.
the buy button, you need to start hitting the sell
Say
button,
another.
you know?
Yeah.
And although obviously, you know, I'm joking when it comes to that, there's obviously some real truth to that.
Yeah.
If you're consistently losing, it's time to switch things up. Yeah, so in short, by learning what not to do, you invariably learn what to do and that's what should be focused on. You know, somebody, I think it was Lucas or somebody who asked me a question the other day about consistency. It's like, how do you find consistency? It's like, well, you're not going to be consistent if you constantly switch trading strategies, for example, or we could take that even further and say entry models or trading models, right?
Yeah.
You might be interested in trading that first leg or that, you know, first reversal, or you might try and wait for the second leg. But
Hmm.
you trying to do say that reversal or the first leg and the second leg, it's like, how are you going to study, you know, your losses if you're trying to trade multiple strategies at one time?
Exactly.
You know, so like, and I've hopefully people have read between the lines, and this is like a big gem in my opinion. It's like I keep telling you guys over and over again how I tweet, you know, or post in the Discord. I'm like, I'm not tweeting every single setup. I'm
Yeah.
only tweeting the setups that I believe are just the odds are so stacked in your favor that it's like
Mhm.
impossible for this not to work, right? And that's what I send out. And
Yeah.
so that's why it's like, okay, well, he may not tweet all that often, but it's like, oh my God, almost every tweet hits. And that's why, you know, I'm not strategy hopping all the time. It's like I'm waiting for very specific criteria. And if I see it, you know, beforehand, I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
this is what's setting up. And I'm going to tweet about it or post in the Discord. And that's where the consistency is at. Not
Yeah.
not trying to find your setup every single day, but just trying to find two, maybe three good setups a week and be done,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know?
And what I've realized lately, even though my equity curve is in positive, but I've realized that I take too many trades. Why? Because there are a lot of knowledge that now I understand. But I know my strategy, but it's like I know a lot of things from you. Like let's say for example, the mitigation model, the imbalance model, the second leg model, the reversal leg model. But I said, okay, I can't try to take all of them, even though they pin out in the screen. I have to be specific on which one I'm gonna take because best setup is when I have divergence between the futures and there is a correlation between the futures and the ETF. Let's say if I want to buy S and I want to sell the SPY, that's not a good thing. But if I want to buy SPY and I want to buy ES, for me, that's a good thing. In addition of that, if I have bullish divergence, that's another key. So that's my best setup. I have a lot of setup, but that's my best setup. And last week, I sat down a little bit and I said, okay, I'm going to put my focus only on this setup because at least 1 or 2 times a week, I'm going to have it
Yeah.
at least 1 or 2 times a week, you're gonna see the market opens up in a huge move, but that's the manipulation. They're gonna take a low, they're gonna take a high, create a divergence, and in the ETF side, I'm gonna have liquidity in the downside. So at this point, I'm gonna have the confirmation, the confluence between the ETF and the futures. So I know that's my so that's a setup that I just I just give out to everybody now. So
Yeah. So
you've been sharing them. So anyway,
no, of course. Yeah. And it's like, okay, you found something that you know works. You've seen
yeah,
it over and over. Like, you know what it is. You've seen it over and over again.
yeah,
And you're at the point now where you trust it. It's like, okay, I can put real money at risk, or I could even say, you know what? I can do a funded challenge and I'm
yeah,
only going to look for this.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
go into a 5-day trading week, or next week is probably a 4-day trading week, right? But it's
yeah,
like you go on a normal week, you go, okay, there's going to be 5 trading days this week.
yeah,
However, I know I'm only going to look for 1 to maybe 3 setups for this week. So guess
yeah,
what? I may not trade every day because if there's 5 days and I'm only looking for 2 to 3 trades, I'm not going to trade every day.
exactly,
So it's when you go into that week with that mindset, it's easier to not trade,
exactly.
right? So then you don't take
And
stupid trades and you only filter the good setups, and that's when
exactly.
your equity curve is solid.
And and also I had an experience with the setup that was October of last year. I've made my weekly paycheck in 4 minutes and 57 seconds. So every day when I come to I start my session and I don't see the opportunity I want, I said, Lebright, I mean, Peter, you have to trust this process because you've made your weekly paycheck in 5 minutes, in less than 5 minutes. So you have to trust it. So that's what I try to remind myself every time I want to do something else. Because you always have your head talking to yourself, you can take this one, you can take this one. But if you listen to it, you're gonna be in drawdown, right?
You know, I'm glad that you mentioned that because if I think traders who don't have something else to do
Yeah,
look for trades and invariably take bad trades. But it's like if you know, okay, my setup's not here, I need to walk away. That's
yeah,
when you go, you journal, or you pick up a book, or you watch a movie, or go work out, or like anything else but trade, right?
yeah,
And when traders don't have that and they stay in front of the computer or the iPad or whatever, they start looking for like setups, and that's when they start forcing setups. Or they go, you know, I just want to take something, so let me just take something, you know?
yeah,
And that's not a good habit. That's when you're going to take more losses than wins, because even if you get a win,
mhm,
that wasn't a win in your trading plan, you know? And so it's like internally you're going to justify that behavior. Well, I took a winning trade the
Exactly.
other day, so now I can just, do it again. And it's
Exactly.
like, yeah,
Exactly. I always talk to my community and I tell them it's better when you have something aside. I'm always trying to do something aside. Um, because I feel better when I'm not trading to pay the bills. I'm not trading to pay the house. I'm not trading to pay the insurance. I'm trading because I want to build wealth. But while I'm doing this, I have to pay my bills, so I have to do something else. So I come to my church every morning, 8:40, 8:45, and I work out at 11:45 or 11:30. And I know between 10 to 11, my setup gonna either um create or I'm gonna have the confirmation. Because sometimes the setup created for 10 in the morning, but at exactly 10, I'm gonna have my confirmation. So if I don't have this one, I walk away and come back tomorrow. It's easy when you have something else aside, man.
I agree.
I'm not the guy that's gonna talk with ego like other people. I'm a full-time trader and everything. You know, they are not. Sometimes we know they are not because the full-time trader people really make money. They don't have to show up. They don't have to show their ego and what they are earning everything. Me, I'm always real with everybody. You know what? I'm trading. Okay, if you want, we can have a conversation. We can have a Zoom call. You can see my account and everything, but I'm not a full-time trader. I have things to do aside. I'm still working, even though that's not something that I want to keep for long term. We're not gonna work until 65 or 75. I don't know. But right now, that's where I'm at, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's better when you say the truth. It's better when you stay real. It's better when you're not pretend to be someone you're not.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
that's what people generally like, especially in the MLM industry. That's what people had respect for me for, and that's what leaders didn't like me for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's like
Mm-hmm.
it made other people look bad. Like in 48 Laws of Power, the first law is never outshine the master.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like you join a. I'm not talking about the trade house, but just the company in general.
Mm-hmm.
You join a company and you're teaching better than other educators. You're
Mm-hmm.
taking better trades than other educators, right? And it's like
Yeah.
a lot of people flocked over to the trade house
Yeah.
because that's what we were doing. And other leaders didn't like that. You
Exactly.
know, then other educators started taking our education and then
Mm-hmm.
passing it along like it was theirs, or not giving the trade house or anybody credit. It was kind of like their thing now. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You were teaching this strategy for a long time. Why are you switching it up? And
Exactly.
it just exposed a lot of things. Like, obviously, the strategy that you use doesn't work. Obviously, if you're switching strategies, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, yeah, it was definitely something, man. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we can only do our best. It would be
Exactly.
wise to focus on our own trading and focus on what we can control and what we can't control.
Yeah.
So, anyway, man, thanks for being here. Thanks for the insight. I know that you and I definitely provided some value in this video. So, thank you for that. Congratulations again on you and your community
Thank
getting
you.
over $1 million in funding. That is phenomenal. So, great job on that.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
All right. So I really appreciate that, and I hope that's not gonna be the last time we have a discussion. I would like to see you in person. Maybe inside of Starbucks or somewhere else to discuss, because I'm pretty sure you and I we're gonna have a lot of things to say. Um, we're gonna talk about leadership, trading and personal development in life. And even in Instagram, we used to have discussion, long discussion.
hmm
So, you're a person that I really appreciate. Okay, and I always tell people that if you see I communicate better than the past, it's John Fibonacci. If you see me, my leadership skill involved 2 times, it's John Fibonacci. If you see me understand the market and taking trade, your mentor cannot take. It's John Fibonacci. I'm kidding. So that was a pleasure for me to be in this interview with you, man. See you.
Thank you so much.